What does a 7-day cruise aboard the Seven Seas Regent Explorer in Norway, along the coast of Norway, really look like? Let's find out. All cruises start by going through security, getting your key cards, watching your luggage board the ship. At last, after about 50 feet, we approach the gangway to the Seven Seas Explorer, where people will help you haul your heavy bags up the gangway. The very first activity of the cruise is to have your first meal lunch on deck 11. And there is the first lunch plate. It's lifeboat drill time. Go to our station, which is the ground floor of the theater, and we're in lifeboat number 2 in case there's any confusion.
A life jacket. It has 3 main safety features. It has reflective tape. It has a light that once it's in water, it will start flashing. Enough food and water to last for, should be a couple weeks, but if we're 7 or 8 days into the cruise and you've gotten used to our cuisine, it might go a little quicker. Does anybody know the very first thing that you do as soon as you get onto the lifeboat? Pray? That's a good one. No, actually what we do is we make everyone, including the crew, take a seasickness pill. It's very important to stay healthy while you're out there. It could be rough waters, and it also works as a sedative so we can kind of control you a little easier.
Time to say goodbye to Copenhagen. Kristiansand is the moose capital of Norway, and there are a lot of moose here. Kristiansand is Norway's 5th largest city, built in 1641. We are doing a walking tour of Kristiansand, and this is our group of 20 or so. This is a flower shop, and firefighters demanded that the corners on the streets be cut out so they can move the ladders around the corners to fight fires. At one time, Norway exported lobsters, and each of the tiles on that roof cost 1 lobster. So about 500 lobsters to tile that roof. So what do one of these little houses cost? About $400,000. And every year one of these burns down, so they're getting fewer and fewer. Now we're going to look at a German World War II artillery position. Huge 14, 16-inch guns. There's one of the bunkers. This is the world's 2nd largest German gun, built during the Second World War to protect Kristiansand. This is a 16-inch naval gun. Day 3, 6 a.m., approaching Bergen, Norway, with showers and rain. Old Town, the tallest mountain in Bergen. What does a typical day at sea aboard the Regent Explorer really look like? It's 7 a.m. Things are very quiet aboard the ship at 7 a.m., though they do seem to be getting the pool ready for people to go swimming. Breakfast opened at 6:30, but there's nobody in the dining room for breakfast at sea day. The gym is at the 6th deck, but the best way to get there is to go through the Canyon Ranch Spa Club so that one can stop and sign up for exercise classes. Only 6 people in these classes, through the spa to the stairway up to the gym. Already people hard at work at the gym. And as one exercises, one looks outside the stern of the ship, and this is what one sees on a day at sea. It's now 9 o'clock class, and it's off to breakfast number 1. Stopping first at the cafe to get a decaf latte for Janice. And that's what the decaf latte looks like, with a pretty flower. The stop to get my freshly squeezed tomato juice from Dacia, Romania. The dining room has certainly filled up since the first time I was here. So since we are now just 2 hours from the Arctic Circle, they are serving caviar for breakfast, in addition to the usual cold cuts, donuts, And hot dishes. Wait, there's even more items. Oatmeal, grits and beans, egg specials, omelets. Because I'm going to the special Sunday brunch in an hour, I am just having a bowl of blueberries and my freshly squeezed tomato juice for breakfast. Number one. It's now 10:30. Time for the famous Sunday brunch in the Compass Rose. A huge buffet and incredible desserts. Crossing the Arctic Circle party. The tradition is when you cross the Arctic Circle, you get a blue dot on your nose.
So here we go. Across the Arctic Circle. Congratulations and have a wonderful evening on board your Seven Seas Explorer.
Alyssa from the Philippines does all the flowers and plants aboard the ship. A wonderful job. Day 5, we're north of the Arctic Circle, sailing into Harstad, 155 miles north of the Arctic Circle, population 23,000. And there's actually snow in the higher mountains outside of town. This is the so-called picture stop of the town. The only thing to see in Harstad is this 1100s church, with most of the inside done in the 1400s, with tiles that are liable to fall down at any time, and a good view of downtown Harstad. A pretty church inside. The altar from the 1400s. Right next to the church was a Russian prison of war camp. 1,200 Soviet prisoners crowded into this camp, and about 300 or 400 of them died. Day 7 finds us approaching the port of Bodo. At least I think that's how the name of the town of 46,000 is pronounced. Hello, this is our guide Katarina. Katarina, how do you say the name of the town Bodo? Here we are at the most powerful maelstrom, Sandrastrom, on the planet, but we're not at the right time. There's not a lot of swirling going on. As the tide reverses, the swirling slows down. And there's not a lot of swirling going on now. About a person every other year dies in trying to swim through this stuff. Now back to Buda. And lunch on board the ship, followed by a tour of the town. This is my double shot lactose-free latte. How's life aboard the ship, Alyssa?
Life is good. Everything is good, no?
Do you get your 3 half days off a cruise?
Yeah, 3 days off when I go back home for vacation, not on board.
You don't get even a half a day.
Sometimes you can get half day, but not for sure all day.
Our second at sea day, heading south to Allison, is, shall we say, overcast, cold, and rough seas. We're playing bungee.
Come closer.
And here it goes. Whoa, we got a ringer here. After the ring toss, it's to the lecture hall for a Viking lecture. Maybe I will too. So, after the lecture, it's time to go shopping, 70% off. Next, wine tasting from around the world. On sea days, there are 4 choices for lunch. The first is out in the pool area, where one can find delectable treats like this apple ginger cake. La Veranda, the buffet, featuring Tex-Mex today, fajitas. Then both specialty, well, 2 of the 3 specialty restaurants are open for lunch. The French chartreuse and prime 7.
All read the credits in the program, and he always offers me this lecture, and I always take it because it's so interesting. And all of these credits are there in the program, as you know, but then
after games at 3, at 4 o'clock, it's donut tea with some incredible donuts. And there's an Enya song from Elena.
No, I didn't give a bonus point in the end. I just said I was going to give you an extra 5 seconds to write it down, but there was no bonus points.
5 o'clock, it's time for the galley tour.
All the canapes, all the salads, the cold cuts, the cheese, everything is centered right here.
So this marks everything.
Remember when I started as a chef, it was
A couple of quick factoids. The foie gras is the chef's favorite, and 10% of the 80 chefs aboard the Explorer are female. They just cannot hire more. A beautiful dining room. Beautiful. For the Seven Seas Society event, people come here for one thing only.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the choosing Regent as your holiday destination. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the master of Seven Seas Explorer. So please join me, put your hands together for Captain Rosario Giovanni Vasta.
To host of tonight's party, I would like to express a few words of gratitude on behalf of all crew on board for your loyalty to Regent.
Round of applause to the lovely Helen Jane.
So lonely, I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue.
Now we listen to piano music until dinner with the chief engineer at 7:30. And it is 9:40 in the evening, north of Ellesund, Norway, and the sea day comes to end. And the skies have cleared magnificently. Day 8 of the cruise begins on a sunny day approaching the town of Ellesund, a town of 50,000 or so people, at the gateway to the fjords. The town looks very modern for a reason. It was burnt down in 1904 and has been rebuilt since. And today looks perfect for one of my favorite hikes, the hike up the 500-odd steps to the restaurant on the top of the hill, right there. Well, here I am at the top of 418 steps I just climbed up, and I'm going down to the cruise ship to get back to the ship. A beautiful, beautiful day for hiking up to the top of the mountain in Ellesund. And this is the view from the 800-foot high or so restaurant of Ellesund. After touring the inside, one comes outside to see the penguins, the seals, and the otters. Next, we have the seals. Those two are mating. And that is what a penguin mating call sounds like. What do the penguins look like? Ducks. Our cabin for this cruise is located on the 14th deck, right there. Looking at our cabin behind the decorations of that wall. So this is how you get to the cabin at the very top. Cabin 1410. Let's go inside and see what it looks like. Let's look at this 330 square foot cabin. Looking at the bathroom, double sinks. Very nice walk-in shower with a waterfall and spray type of outlets to take your shower on. Good set of amenities. Large size walk-in closet with a room safe. Great. Nice king-size bed. Nice desk with a computer. Internet's free, unlimited, and sort of okay. Nice sitting area. Very nice TV set that has the channels that are required. Vanity refrigerator that you can stock as you will. And something I use every morning, the Nescafe coffee maker. Let's go out and look at the veranda. One of the negatives of the room, the 14th floor, is that the verandas are smaller. On a nice day like today, you can sit in these chairs and enjoy the view. All in all, what can one say about this 330 square foot Category D concierge cabin? Perfect for your cruise needs. Day 9 begins deep within the fjords. We are at the small town of Hellesund at the end of one of the fjords. These waterfalls are the highlights of the city. We now commence a tour, a bus tour, up to 5,000 feet with varying views of Gangefjord and our ship in the distance. Now we're at, I can't even start to pronounce it, 3,000 feet high. It's a hotel overlooking Norway's largest glacier. Now it's up to Europe's highest fjord view from a road. And everywhere they are these wildflowers, mountain flowers abloom today. Now we are at 4,950 feet, the tallest fjord viewpoint in the world from a road. And there is our ship. You can buy reindeer skins for about $250 up here as well. And here is downtown Geiranger. About 5:10 and we're on the last tender. All good things must come to an end, and our day at Gangefjord, which means arrow point in Viking, comes to an end. As we leave the Seven Sisters, it's 6:15 at night, and that means I better get ready for dinner in 15 minutes at 6:30. Well, it's 5 minutes to go till dinner, a little music and some potato chips while we wait. There are 6 choices for dinner aboard the Explorer. The first is the pool grill, basic meat and buffet items. It's a little cool on the deck and not too many people eat here, though it opens at 6. It's your earliest dining choice. Next up is the Setai Mori, which is at the La Veranda. Good evening, a nice
Welcome to the best restaurant in the ship, please.
a nice Italian restaurant. On deck 10 is Chartreuse, the French restaurant. In Prime 7, the steakhouse. Tonight, I eat in the Compass Rose, probably with the assistant purser. We shall see. Saturday brings us to the fjord town of Flam in the clouds and rain. This small town of 350 people features 2 things. Cute boathouses where people live aboard above the ships and the railroad. The town of Flam is a bustling little town at the end of the railroad system. Hordes of tourists from all of Norway. Intriguing types of hot dogs available. Sausages to try, including grilled whale meat. Our morning tour takes us to the summer camp area of Osterbo, And the Fagella stove means mountain lodge, and that's where we're going, to the mountain lodge at Oslo. What a pretty camp area. And on our way to the traditional welcoming treat in Norway, waffles, raspberry jam, and sour cream. One crumbs across a very interesting welcoming creature. So the waffles in the shape of a heart to greet the pilgrims with sour cream and raspberry jam. Day 11 begins as we approach the Norwegian town of Hosund, probably not pronounced that way. And of course, as soon as we get anywhere near a piece of land, the internet on the ship goes out. The tour in Haugesund, a town of 36,000, founded for herring. The one negative of visiting Haugesund on a Sunday is that every single store on their main street is closed because it's Sunday. Looking at some of the very old building across the river, for some reason this town has a statue of Marilyn Monroe. She's not from here. This is the oldest house in town, dating from the 1820s when the city was founded. The number one food in Norway is pizza. Often on tour there are shuttle buses to take you to the town center if it's a little too far to walk. As the ship pulls away from the port.
Keep the line cruise, keep the line low, people we know. It is so exciting fun to shopping and learning how to.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Paris Hunter Paul, world-class stage actor and vivid entertainer on screen and television. On the Regent 7 Seas Explorer, having a great cruise, grand old time in Norway. Now we're in Gothenburg, Sweden, for our last night, on our way to Oslo, Norway, for the final day of our trip. It's been a blast, but all the good things must come to an end.
And with this beautiful full rainbow in the port of Gothenburg, Sweden, the video comes to an end.